Despite their perennial losing images, 4 teams threaten to turn the NFL's established hierarchy upside down. Take the Cincinnati Bengals. Doormats in 1979, they've recently grabbed onto a more positive identity that they won't let go of. The passing of second-year quarterback Jack Thompson was one reason why the Bengals appeared ready to whip the Dolphins. But when Miami followed the fourth quarter's safety with a rarity, an onside free kick, the Bengals' good fortune turned sour. Bad luck and bad bounces had plagued Cincinnati in their Week 1 loss to Tampa Bay. And after number 82, Duriel Harris's fumbled pass reception was recovered by Miami in the end zone, it was more of the same. Moments later, Forrest Gregg, calm despite a chain of freak events that have brought lesser men to their knees, watched helplessly as Uwe von Schamen's 35-yard field goal erased the Bengals' 2-point lead. Once again, the Fates had aligned themselves squarely against Cincinnati. The 17-16 defeat was ample proof that the ball has not been bouncing the Bengals' way. Cincinnati's 1980 ledger now reads Fates 2, Bengals nothing. But their inspired play to date suggests that they may soon be operating in the black. The Bengals are probably green with envy over the play of the Detroit Lions. In Milwaukee, Packers linebacker Mike Douglas, number 53, thought he had devised a way to stop Billy Sims, number 20. Soon, however, Douglas and the Packers were forced to go back to the old drawing board as the rookie totaled over 100 yards rushing for the second straight week. The simply sensational Mr. Sims sparked a 29-7 win, and Detroit, 2-14 in 1979, is 2-0 in 1980. The message is loud and clear. The Lions are patsies no longer. A similar message was being sent out by the 49ers' Bill Walsh. Aided by a battery-powered amplifier, laryngitis-stricken Steve DeBerg relayed his master's voice into the huddle. For the most part, DeBerg's arm did the talking against St. Louis. The first of his 2 touchdowns went to top draft choice Earl Cooper, number 49. But the 49ers' message got a bit garbled when the Cardinals' Jim Hart made himself heard. The voice of this 15-year veteran is probably a bit wheezing, but rookie tight end Doug Marsh, number 87, perfectly understood the old-timer. Hart and DeBerg traded passes all day long, combining for over 50 completions in 80 attempts. But the 49ers had an extra edge in Paul Hofer, number 36. For the second consecutive week, Hofer produced over 100 receiving yards, and the 2 teams concluded regulation time with 3 touchdowns apiece. The last word was finally supplied by Ray Wersching, whose field goal gave the 49ers a 24-21 overtime victory. Winners of but 4 games over the past 2 seasons, the 49ers' 2-0 mark suggests that their cellar-dwelling days appear to be ending. Bringing up the rear is a trait also attributed to the Buffalo Bills, but they're off the mark quickly after 4 straight seasons of last or next to last place finishes. Against the Jets, rookie Joe Cribbs, number 20, provided the Bills with a kind of scoring threat they need from the ground. Cribbs' role in the Bills' passing game was somewhat less secure. But Joe Ferguson didn't really need Cribbs to move the ball in the air, not when he had weapons like Reuben Gant, number 88. dangerous passing attack is expected of the Bills, but an opportunistic defense is something new. When number 38 Jeff Nixon stole his 4th pass of the young campaign, Buffalo secured an easy 20-10 win. The Bills are clearly on the way up, joining an unlikely new group of NFL movers and shakers who are promising to make 1980 the year of the turnaround. As always, Dallas head coach Tom Landry has been cool and collected as he programs his Cowboys for the year ahead. This Sunday, however, Landry's latest computer printout will face an emotional crew from the good ship Tampa Bay, led by the baddest buccaneer of them all, Long John Leroy Selmon. Long John Leroy and the Bucs can shiver your timbers with a defense that allowed the fewest points in the NFL last season and has, if anything, improved for 1980. Tampa's defense keeps every game within reach, and to build a similar power base, Dallas lured Ed Too Tall Jones out of a one-year experiment in the boxing arena back to the Cowboy defensive line. Now he puts quarterbacks down for the mandatory 8 count. Too Tall's fling in the ring convinced him that he had more to contribute on a football field, helping Dallas renovate the doomsday defense to team with a still potent Cowboy offense which bristles with big play potential, like that of number 80, Tony Hill. But so far in 1980, for every Too Tall and Tony, there has been a trial. Last week against the Denver Broncos, veteran safety Charlie Waters directed a learning experience in the Dallas secondary that has become quite painful. Retirement and injury have left the last line of Dallas defense in the hands of Charlie's Angels, an unknown group of young rookies and reserves. A coaching film view from the end zone shows that these youngsters have the talent to cover NFL receivers, but also the inexperience to make false moves like getting turned around and losing sight of the quarterback for a crucial split second. Denver took advantage of the Cowboys' on-the-job training by passing for almost 200 yards, 52 coming on this pass to Steve Watson, which set up a Bronco touchdown. On offense, another Dallas transition is not going so smoothly, as number 11 Danny White continued his traumatic attempt to replace the legendary Roger Staubach as Cowboy quarterback. To take some heat off White this season, the Cowboy attack was designed to revolve around the explosive talents of number 33, Tony Dorsett. Even that hasn't quite worked out. While Dallas learned its lessons the hard way last week in a 41-20 rout by Denver, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers attacked Los Angeles with place kicker Garo Yepremian and their vaunted wing and a prayer offense. Just like last season, points do not come easy for the Bucs. Mostly they leave offense up to their rugged, raw-boned quarterback, Doug Williams. Number 12 is yet to prove he's a big league passer, but he'll do anything to win. And his style is reminiscent of another number 12 when he broke in a few years ago, a rugged, raw-boned quarterback named Terry Bradshaw. Against the Rams, Williams scraped together 10 points, and Tampa Bay's defense made them stand up by holding Los Angeles without a touchdown for the 3rd straight time. With a 10-9 win over the Rams, the happy crew from the good ship Tampa Bay is on course for a 2nd straight playoff season and gratefully accepting a 2-0 record. Meanwhile, Dallas is 1-1, and even though Tom Landry is still cool and collected, he is also worried. As he surveys his ship of state, he sees only the numerous leaks that have sprung up. With this week's stiffest test coming up, Landry has to wonder if his ship is ready to be boarded by a rambunctious band of buccaneers with larceny in their hearts and dedicated to sinking every opponent in sight. In San Diego, the word for the day is intensity, and Charger coach Don Coryell lives with it 7 days a week. Against the Oakland Raiders, quarterback Dan Fouts and wide receiver John Jefferson teamed up for San Diego's initial touchdown. One-handed high-flying flair has become commonplace and effective for number 83. The Raiders' offense, by contrast, relied on neither acrobatics nor grace, just straight-ahead football. The Raiders' short passing game utilized the power of number 31, Derek Jensen. Quarterback Dan Pastorini then shifted gears and cut loose with a 48-yard scoring pass to Cliff Branch, keeping things even through the first half. San Diego regained a 7-point lead in the fourth period, and with Pastorini temporarily sidelined, his replacement Jim Plunkett got specific orders: throw a quick touchdown and tie up the game. Plunkett followed orders. With 39 seconds remaining in regulation time, one pass and one touchdown to Raymond Chester equaled overtime. The ball changed hands 3 times in the fifth period, one too many for Oakland. Dan Fouts' final pass of the day to John Jefferson decided the contest. Jefferson, whose speed and agility are only topped by his rollover skills, used all 3 skills to get behind, then in front of, cornerback Lester Hayes. San Diego 30, Oakland 24. The overtime thriller upped the Chargers' record to 2-0 and first place in the AFC West. Minnesota coach Bud Grant has won 10 divisional championships. Philadelphia's Dick Vermeil, none. Why is Vermeil smiling? One reason is his quarterback, Ron Jaworski. After completing 77% of his passes against the Vikings for 234 yards and 2 touchdowns, he remained the NFL's top-rated quarterback. When he missed, it was not by much. The Eagles still run more than they pass, and why not? Wilbert Montgomery, number 31, continued where he left off in 1979, recording a 72-yard touchdown run, longest of the young NFL season. Montgomery's score was but one of many that handed the Vikings their worst defeat in 13 years. The offense generated over 500 total yards, while the Philadelphia defense allowed the Vikings just 32 yards on the ground. First stringers and reserves alike served the Eagle cause. Reserves like second-year wide receiver Scott Fitzke, number 81. The 42-7 drubbing of the Vikings may be an early season indicator of an extra long winter in Minnesota. Winters in Baltimore have been long and cold in recent years whenever Burt Jones was disabled. But Burt is back and healthy, ready to match Terry Bradshaw and the world champion Steelers. Bradshaw made his first mistake in the second period, and Colt linebacker Sanders Shiver, number 54, converted an interception to 6 points and the first Baltimore lead. After a Pittsburgh touchdown, Baltimore went ahead again on a 15-yard scoring toss from Burt Jones to rookie wide receiver Raymond Butler. The Colts gave a sellout crowd their money's worth well into the fourth period. But even in Baltimore, the fourth quarter belongs to the Steelers, football's premier clutch team. Displaying the depth that makes the Steelers favorite to repeat as world champion, Terry Bradshaw found reserve back Greg Hawthorne performing a Lynn Swann imitation. Bradshaw then sought out more reserve talent. Jim Smith, number 86, sped by a Baltimore blitz with the final score in the Steelers' 20-17 win. A repeat reveals that Bradshaw read the blitz from number 25, Nesby Glasgow, waited briefly, and it was Jim Smith's ball and Pittsburgh's ball game. The blitz was a bold gamble that the Colts took and lost. Pittsburgh tackle Joe Green and head coach Chuck Noll agreed. It was Baltimore's lone mistake of the day. Somewhere there are New England fans who remember when their Patriots were able to win the first 2 games of the football season. But that was a long time ago in a galaxy far away. The Patriots were upended last Sunday by the underdog Atlanta Falcons, making it 6 straight years New England has been unable to win each of its first 2 games on the schedule. Atlanta did in the Patriots with strong running and a near flawless passing performance from quarterback Steve Bartkowski. Bartkowski threw for nearly 250 yards with 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. Number 89, Wallace Francis, was on the receiving end for 1 of the 3 Bartkowski scores. The other 2 were hauled in by rookie tight end Junior Miller, number 80, the man who must replace longtime Falcon great Jim Mitchell. Based on his performance in the 37-21 win over New England, Miller is well on his way to doing just that. Miller's 8 catches for 117 yards was the best performance by an NFC receiver in Week 2. The tight end position looks to be a productive one for Atlanta this season. One place where the tight end had been all but ignored was in Chicago. When rookie Robert Fisher, number 85, caught this pass from Mike Phipps last week against New Orleans, it marked the first time a Chicago tight end had scored a touchdown in nearly 3 years. Another rare sight was the manhandling of New Orleans' offensive line by number 99 defensive end Dan Hampton and the Bear pass rush. Last season, the Saints allowed only 17 sacks all year. In this game alone, the Bears had 6. Also enjoying a big game was number 34, Walter Payton, who bounced back from a subpar opening day performance with 183 yards rushing and a 10 yards per carry average. It all meant an easy 22-3 win for the Bears. Performances like this have come to be commonplace for Walter Payton, but other events around the league were unusual. In Kansas City, the Chiefs' allegedly weak passing game was quite effective against the visiting Seahawks. But Seattle had a surprise of their own when they unveiled something called a pass rush, a weapon not well known to Seahawk followers. Last week, however, it became quite familiar to Chief quarterback Steve Fuller. Along with 4 quarterback sacks were 2 touchdown passes from Seattle's scrambling Jim Zorn. Zorn went to number 84, Sam McCullum, frequently during the day, including this first quarter touchdown. The Seahawks scored big early, but had to hang on to nip Kansas City 17-16. The New Jersey Meadowlands have been Death Valley for the Washington Redskins, who have never beaten the Giants there. Last Sunday, they hoped to end the long drought. Number 38, Clarence Harmon, inaugurated the scoring on a pass from Joe Theismann. And then Theismann himself sprinted for 37 yards and a score to give the Redskins a comfortable lead. Theismann was not the only hot quarterback on the premises. New York's Phil Simms, still smoking from a 5-touchdown performance the week before, picked up right where he left off with a scoring toss to rookie Alvin Garrett, number 25. The Giants still trailed 20-14 after Garrett's touchdown, but that was only temporary. Just minutes later, Simms spotted tight end Tom Milady, number 81. And New York's Meadowlands win streak over Washington seems safe for at least one more year. But a furious Redskin drive in the waning moments set the stage for a game-winning field goal from pro football's most reliable kicker, Mark Mosley. The 23-21 Washington victory was but one of many events that shaped the character of Week 2. It was a week of surprises, sudden surges from last year's also-rans, and a week in which half the games were won by teams who beat both their opponents and a ticking clock.